I want to ask my family to come up here, all my family. Come on, real quick.
Tammy Lynn, that means you too.
All my family. Hey, would you welcome my family as they walk up this way? Leave this for Mom right here. We're going to do something a little bit different today. I'm not preaching today. Don't you say amen. Tammy, put Tammy right there in the middle. I didn't tell her we were doing this. I still haven't told her we're doing this. Because if I did, she would not have come to church today. She would have passed out. She'd have worried about it. She doesn't like to be up in front of a crowd. And David doesn't either that much, but he's here. We're going to do something a little bit different. Every Mother's Day we get together around a table. Today we're going to be at the table, and every Mother's Day we get together, we tell jokes, and we talk about Mom, and we talk about embarrassing things, funny things, sometimes serious things, and we just decided, or I decided, that we would do it in front of y'all. Aunt Vern, where are you at? Aunt Vern. Aunt Vern, and you know how dangerous that is because Austin's up here. Right? So we just decided that we were going to sit at the table today because we do this every time we have any kind of major holiday, and especially Mother's Day, and we talk about Mom. And I'm just going to ask some questions today. I'm going to ask some questions to the kids, and before I do that, though, I want to show you a couple of pictures. Go ahead and start throwing those pictures up here because really all of this mess started 28 and a half years ago. What? Come on now. That's, slow down. That's, back up. Aunt Vern, back up. That's Austin. Huh? Next one is Madison. Isn't she pretty? And look at there. That's my catcher right there. And that's my ball player, T-ball player, Madison. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute, stop, slow down. This is, slow down. Slow down. I got ADD, this is killing me. All right, so then this is Austin and Sarah, and I'm going to introduce everybody in a minute, but this was in Maryland because Austin went off to Liberty University and met a Maryland girl. And had a beautiful wedding. Going to the next one. And that's Austin and Sarah again a few years ago. Keep going. Just want to see my family. Some of you don't know them. Some of you are new and you don't know that that Madison, who leads worship, is my daughter, and Austin, who is our operations pastor, is my son. This is when David and Madison got married. Yeah, and that's the whole bunch before the little grandbabies got here. Keep going. Oh, look at there. Who is that? Casher? That's Casher. Coleman. I hope these are the right babies. Hard to tell them apart when they're that big. Coleman. Madison, you picked up a bunch of Coleman, didn't you? Good grief. And then there's the whole bunch all together. I love my family. I'm proud of my family. All right, so I want to just introduce my family to you just real quick, and we're going to get into some questions, and who knows what we're going to get into. And at the end of this thing, what I really hope happens today is that you see that your family is not the only messed up cray-cray family. I mean, you know, it's been said that pastors attract what they are. We got a bunch of cray-cray people because you got a cray-cray pastor and family. And I want you to just kind of see who we are today, and then we're going to challenge you and encourage you as a mom today. So this is my son. Everybody give it up for Austin Coleman. He is my son in whom I am well pleased. He's our operations pastor here at Soul Quest Church. He hasn't been with us from the beginning, but he really has, because all the graphics from day one, he was doing them from Lynchburg, Virginia for us. And so Austin is our operations pastor. He handles all the day-to-day operations of the church. You don't even realize we are so understaffed. Our church has grown so rapidly, and Austin does countless things, and so I thank God for him. And then he married the one and only Miss Sarah. And We prayed and prayed and prayed a long time for our kids to marry the right person. And Austin brought a few girls home with him. And I'm glad we're not live today because they might be watching. But, no. But then when he brought Sarah home, you know what I said? Don't screw this up. Did I not say that? I said, don't screw this up. She is awesome. She's the best daughter-in-law anybody could ever have. And then the one and only mother of the year, my wife, Tammy Coleman. The first lady. And then I've got my daughter, Madison. And did I forget Cash? I'm sorry, dude, I forgot you. And their baby Casher. And John had to get him a bucket of donut holes so he would be good. He loves donut holes. See, being a pastor's kid has some perks. There's some challenges. You know this, you were a pastor. There's some challenges. It's sometimes hard being a pastor, but there's some perks too. Also, because every Sunday, John, wave at us, John back there. Don't mess with me. He'll take care of you. John has a cup waiting full of donut holes for Casher every Sunday after church. So he's training him. Then this is Madison, my daughter, who is also our worship leader. And this is her husband, David Rodemaker. And we could not have asked for a better son-in-law, and we thank God for David because it took a very special person for Madison. It really did. It really did. And she's awesome, but I'm just telling you, she took y'all don't know this, but they were childhood best friends. I mean, they tore up everything together. Golf carts. Where's Dan Rodemaker? Dan's here. David, his son, ran his golf cart in the pond. I mean, they just tore up everything. I remember one time they came to us and they said, David said, Brother Ronnie, calls me brother Ronnie, we just ran upon a deer. He's laying down, but he's still breathing, got a big hole in his side. I said, David, they lied. Both of them lied a lot. I mean, you know, this was pre-salvation days, you know. And I said, okay, all right, y'all go back out. No, I'm serious. And sure enough, somebody else had to come and kill. Somebody shot a deer, and it was dying. It was slowly dying, and they put it out of its misery. Anyway, so I'm sorry, animal deer lovers. But somebody ate it. But this is David, and then this is little Coleman. Coleman is 3 months old yesterday, and Cash is 19 months old. Cash is 19 months old. Boom. I love these kids. They're awesome. And anyway, this is my family, and I thought I would just get out of the way and ask a few questions. So, first of all, let me just ask the most general question. Kids, do y'all have a microphone y'all can use? All right, so first of all, do we have the perfect family, or did you have the perfect family growing up?
No.
All right, that's what I thought. That was really not a question. Was mom the perfect mom? You better answer that one right.
Yes. Of course.
All right, so Austin, and y'all can decide and fight over who goes first, like you always do, but who got the most spankings growing up?
Definitely me.
Who deserved the most spankings?
Definitely Madison.
Negative. Not true.
Because Madison was a liar. And so she would just lie about things, and then I would get spanked.
No, that's not true.
Madison one time, okay, look. Madison, the only time Madison ever got spanked her entire life, ever, was we were riding back from a swimming pool, okay? And I was chilling in the back seat, minding my own business. Madison is sitting next to me, and I just got out of the pool, so I'm like chilling, like no shirt on, right? And so at this time in my life, I was a hefty boy, and Madison got mad at me because she just is a sinner, and she leans over and she bites my nipple.
There was
We
good
are not
reason.
live, so we can say that, okay? It's just us here. And that's the only time her entire life she got a spanking, which was well deserved. But
No, that's not even what happened. He was the biggest aggravator growing up of all time. And I'm sure, I don't remember exactly what happened, but he aggravated me so much. And so
Nipple
I
biting
just
is
bit
another
his
level,
nipple.
though.
I don't have no idea why. It just was the first instinct.
Do you remember, Tammy? Do you want to tell the story about the spray paint?
No, I do not.
Huh?
You tell it.
One time, this was pre-salvation days. Now, don't judge, okay? But this was pre-salvation days. But I remember we had this old white van. Some of you are like, you still got an old white van. Okay, well, this was the one before that.
Yeah.
We keep a white van for about 12 years. It's almost time for a new one. But this one had a navy blue stripe down at the very bottom. It was a Ford Aerostar, wasn't it? And one day we went out to the van, and somebody had taken spray paint, and they had just sprayed this black spray paint down the side of the blue stripe at the bottom. And so the first person we went to was Madison. Madison, you know anything about? No, I think that was the Northerns. Now, you got to understand, about 4 houses down, there was this, we didn't know their names, and we called them the Northerns because they were from up north. So the kids called them the Northerns. She said, no, that was the Northerns kid that did that. Blamed somebody else. Now, she got saved at what age? I don't know what it was. 9. And she really got saved at 9, and she came to us and she said, Mom and Dad, you know that black stripe down the side of the van? Yeah. Well, I was riding my little bicycle past the van, and you know the little rubber handle on the side, it had come off, and it was just metal, and it just scraped down. So I just decided I'd fix it. So she said she was sorry, but anyway, so she.
Well, and we knew it was Madison from the very beginning too, because she asked for a pink Barbie Jeep, and she got it, and then like a month later, she spray paints it gold. So, like
the entire thing is
the
gold.
entire thing was gold. So she was very well versed in spray paint.
I spray paint everything.
To this day.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you another question. This is Mother's Day, so let me ask you, what are some embarrassing moments, and y'all can decide who goes first. What's some embarrassing moments with Mom while you were growing up? Some embarrassing moments with Mom. Any?
Want me to go first? Okay. All right, so every day, my mom is she's like the best mom ever. But every day after basketball practice, she brought me and all of my friends McDoubles from McDonald's, okay? She'd always get mine meat and cheese only because I'm a plain person. Anyway, she brought us McDoubles. Well, that day after practice, she gave McDoubles to everybody, and one of my friends needed a ride home. Well, so she's like, yeah, go ahead and get in the van. You know, I got to stop by the grocery store on the way home, but it's no big deal. I'll get you there. So we pull up in Deaton's parking lot in Trenton, Tennessee. And my friend Jan, who is like, their family has really nice cars, always has, like, top of the line. We pull up, and my friend opens the door of the Aerostar, and when she did, it just went boom, hit the ground, the whole door, the entire door, hit the ground, and I will never forget her face. She turned to me. She had this, like, I don't even know what the face was. She was so scared. She was like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? So then I was dying laughing because this had happened before, so it was no big deal. But anyway, and then what makes it even funnier is, I don't know if it was that same day, but this is another occurrence. We went to the grocery store again, and my mom had broken her key off inside of the ignition switch thing. I don't know what it's called. And so she started it with a flathead screwdriver. Well, I went to the grocery store with my mom, and for some reason we locked our car. We locked the minivan. I don't know why. There was nothing in it. Nobody's stealing that thing. Anyway, but we locked it, and my mom locked her key, which was a screwdriver, inside the car. So we had to call my dad and ask him to bring us a flathead screwdriver to start the car and to come unlock it. That was pretty funny, too.
Hey, Madison, didn't one time that same van, didn't it rain on the outside?
That's Austin.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so we were on the way to school in the Aerostar or Old Whitey, and we were coming down the boulevard of Peabody, okay? and it was pouring rain outside. And one of my friends I played football with was walking down the boulevard. And Mom was like, oh, man, there's Hunter. He's walking down the boulevard. Let's pick him up. And of course, Mom was being so nice and everything. So we pick up Hunter. He gets in the car. He shuts the door. And the back seat had a leak. And it was leaking on him. He said, well, it's raining as much inside as it is outside. I don't know if I want to ride or not. And so Mom kicked him out of the car, and no, I'm just kidding. She brought him all the way to school, and never forgot that. But one other time that it's Mom embarrassing, right? Mom embarrassed me one time when I was a junior in high school. After school, you have football practice and everything, and I was a linebacker, and so I was like, I tried to have this, tough exterior. I was like, yeah, like whatever, like blah, 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 yeah, whatever that means. And so I was chilling in the locker room, and my friend Devin comes in, who is a year older than me, and he's got a bag for me. And Jake remembers this because he was on the football team. And Devin says, hey, your mommy brought you something. She had gotten Devin to take anti-monkey butt powder to me because I was having some issues. And she didn't want me to have the raw hiney during football practice. So she brought that and handed it to one of my teammates to bring to me.
I thought it was Jake, but it was Devin. Okay, cool. Any other embarrassing moments that y'all can think about? Oh, David's got one. The son-in-law.
I got to be good with my words. So Brother Ronnie and Miss Tammy lived with us for about 3 or 4 months whenever they were building their house.
The first of your marriage.
The first of my
marriage. They got home from their honeymoon and Mom and Dad were there. Hey, guys, we're moving in.
No mother suite or anything. They just live with us. So I always have on athletic clothes unless I'm at church. I always wear athletic clothes. I have a bunch of sweatpants, a bunch of shorts. And so I was going to the gym one day, and I found myself wearing the same pair of shorts like every day. And I'm like, man, I have like a ton of gym clothes. Where'd they all go? And my mother-in-law walks into the kitchen table, and she sits down. I'm like, those sweatpants look really familiar. So I don't say anything. I leave it alone. I'm like, I need to be nice to my mother-in-law. And then the next day, same thing. New set of sweatpants that are mine. And all of a sudden, my shirt, too. And I'm like, okay, all my clothes are gone. She took all my clothes, and she still has half of them.
That's just weird. All right, anything else before we leave that point?
Yeah, I've got one more. Well, and David kicked them out after that, actually. So, yeah, they came to my house. Yeah, that's true. So, when I was... This is a good one. Okay, you probably can't tell because Mom's up here. She's like, whatever. But inside, she's dying, okay? Because she doesn't want to be up here. Like when she leaves, her butt's going to be covered in butt sweat. She's so nervous right now. And when we get home, like, Dad is going to get it, it's going to be bad. But because of that, I have to share something that Mom did to Dad that is hilarious, okay? When we lived on the bypass in Trenton, I used to like to sleep on the couch a lot because the couch was super comfortable. My parents still have it. It's the couch Dad preached from one time. Super comfortable couch. It's got his oily sweat head on it on one end. And I was sleeping on the couch, and I was awakened by this scream. And I was just like, what in the world is happening? And so I wake up, and I kind of look over and look around, and I hear Mom going, oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. You're a grown man. What is wrong with you? And I hear Dad going, I'm so sorry, Tammy, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I really didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. I'll clean it up. I'm sitting there thinking, what in the world has happened in the bedroom? And Mom keeps going, no. Go get some rags, and you're going to sleep in it. And I was like, what in the world? I'm so sorry, Tammy. I promise I didn't mean to. I was just at the toilet in my dream, and the next thing I know, I wake up and
It happens when you get older.
Mom was livid.
By the way, that was number 1, not number 2, if you're wondering. Okay, let's move past that, all right? Next question, good memories with Mom. Good memories with Mom.
I have a good memory. Donuts and I don't remember that. Okay, I remember 2 things, both involving food. One, when Dad was in evangelism, he was like never at home on Sundays, or basically like Sunday through Wednesday, he wasn't really around because he was traveling around. And so on Sundays, after we went to church, Mom would take us to Lee's, and we would have Lee's fried chicken, me, Madison, and Mom. It was awesome, and so we loved it every week. And then another thing, Mom worked in Dyersburg for like a year, only on Mondays. She would drive from Trenton to Dyersburg, which is like a 45-minute drive, only on Mondays to make minimum wage, just so she could bring a fish house home from Long John Silver's in Dyersburg, so we could eat a fish house on Monday nights. That's what Mom did on Mondays, and I'm forever, eternally grateful for that fish house.
Okay. Does it have to be when we were children, or can it be now? Okay. I mean, I have a bunch of memories, of good memories when I was a child, too. I just, a good memory now is we've kind of made it a tradition. I have 2, actually. I have 2. Okay, every morning when I wake up, the first thing that I do is call my mama. I don't know why. I just call her to tell her how I slept. I don't know. I have no idea why I call her. I just do it. Anyway, that's a good memory because I talk to my mama every single morning, and she constantly is texting me at night. Do you have the baby sock on? We have this sock monitor thing that we put on the baby, and it keeps his heart rate and his, what else? And his oxygen level, and it alerts you if it goes down or whatever, which is so nifty. But my mom is obsessed with it, and so she messages me. It'll be like 5 o'clock at night, and she's like, oh, gosh. It'll be 5 o'clock at night, and she's like, do you have the baby sock on? Do you have the baby sock on? Anyway, that's a good memory. Me and my mama talk every single morning. And then another one is Thursdays. We have made it tradition. We go shopping on Thursdays with my Mimi. And we do it on Thursdays because my Mimi's day off is Thursday. So we all go shopping on Thursdays and eat and spend all of our men's money.
I got a good memory with Miss Tammy. So we went to Gatlinburg, our first trip with the in-laws, and me and Miss Tammy like to eat. We really like sweets. We really like to eat. So by the end of the trip, we had eaten at every place pretty much on that strip, and we get out of this, what was that place? The bizarre, weird, I can't think of it. Yeah, whoever just said that. They just said it. We got done there, and nobody else was hungry. Maddie and Brother Ronnie were stuffed. And Miss Tammy looked at me. She's like, you want fudge? I'm like, yes, I want fudge. So we ate fudge the whole way back, and Maddie and Brother Ronnie were sick full, and we ate. So I like eating with Miss Tammy.
All right, let me ask y'all to do one thing for me. And Sarah and David, y'all can do this if you'd like to, and then I'm going to get to y'all in a second. But in one word, describe Tammy in one word. What would be the one word that would come to your mind when you think about your mother or your mother-in-law?
I got 2. One is prophetess, okay? Let me explain, because like she knows, okay, everything. I don't know how, but like she like can be like, yo, that dude over there is, whatever. Not he's up to no good. Then like 10 months later, he's up to no good, and we're like, what? And she can read people really well, like that. She's very discerning. Yeah, especially. And then I would just say loving, because mom has always been, no matter what we did, if we did good at sports, bad at sports, if we, made straight A's or we, flunked or whatever, Mom was always loving and supportive, and yeah. So.
Well, I was going to say loving too, so, but loving, and another one is selfless. Like mom will drop anything she's doing at any time, doesn't matter what's going on, she will drop it to come to me and Austin's rescue. She's always been like that.
I would say, I have 2 words too. Funny, because she just says whatever comes to her mind and just, she's funny. And hospitable, 'cause she's always been very welcoming to me and anybody else who comes into her home or into her family.
Hey, hang on there for Sarah for just a second, because I wanted to address this. You know, when you have when your son or your daughter marries someone and they come into your family, it's different, right? I mean, because you're raised maybe different than our family is. So how has that been as far as adapting to that? Because we just think the world of our daughter-in-law and our son-in-law. They are phenomenal, and our kids couldn't have found anybody any better. But at the same time, it's different. You were raised by different parents, and your upbringing maybe was a little different. So what stands out in our family that's something that maybe you can, maybe a positive, maybe not so much a positive, but just something maybe that stands out?
Well, when me and Maddie first got married, my mom calls me about once a week, and my dad calls me about once a week. So I was not used to Maddie talking to her mom when she wakes up, midday, at supper, at nighttime, before she goes to bed, midnight. So I was not used to that, and that took me a while to adjust to that. And I like it now. And another thing was, we first got married, before they started living with us, month 2, but Maddie was always like, do you want to go eat with my parents? Do you want to go to my parents' house and eat? I'm like, we haven't had a meal at our house yet. It's been 2 months. We haven't had a meal at our house. And that took me a while to adjust to that, and now I love it. Now if we don't go over to their house and eat, or we don't eat with her family, or we're not doing something with her family, I'm like, what's wrong? Do they hate us? You know. So it took a while to adjust, but I love them.
Okay, I kind of have the same thing as David. Y'all get together. We get together a lot. We see you guys pretty much every day. But it really hasn't been a bad thing. I really feel like I adjusted well, because y'all have been so welcoming. There was never I never hated y'all or anything. So, but yeah, just some days I'd be like, my gosh, we're going to see your family again. But now it's sometimes I'm the one who's like, we haven't seen your parents yet today. Let's go see them. So I guess I've gotten used to that now. I always want to see you guys every day too, so.
All right, one more question, and then we're going to wind this down. I want y'all to encourage, we got a lot of moms. If you're a mom, raise your hand. We got a lot of moms out here. I want y'all to encourage or maybe challenge some of these mothers today with some of the things that maybe you saw or you learned from your mom. Something that she did for y'all as the child that you could challenge maybe some younger moms or even whoever, some moms out here, that you could encourage them with or you could challenge them with. Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I'll go. Mom has always been good at, and I think that's very important. Mom wasn't scared to always encourage us, of course, and love us, but she was also never scared to call us out and be like, you're being super dumb, and what in the world is wrong with you? You know, she wasn't afraid to do that. And I think a lot of times moms don't do, they're like the best friends, right? But then they don't go the other way too, where they're just like, you stop being stupid, you know? And Mom was very good at balancing that and doing both of those, making sure we knew we were loved, but then also expecting us to do the right thing. And so that was something good.
Yeah. One thing that not just my mom but my dad too, they had high expectations for me and Austin. They held us, you know, they expected stuff out of us, and that made me want to be a better kid. And now that I'm a parent, I'm so glad my parents did that, you know, because I want to do the same thing to Cole, and I hope that I'm half the mom that my mom was to us. So, yeah, basically the same thing Austin said.
Okay. How about that? Pretty good? All right, thank you guys so much. Oh, let me ask one more question. Y'all may have to encourage her a little bit. Is there anything that Mom wants to say? Anything you want to share with any of the moms here today that might encourage them or challenge them as moms? Anything?
No.
She's going to kill me.
No. I don't know.
Okay. Be a good mom. Amen?
Just love your kids.
All right. I knew she would probably do that. My wife is a Martha. You know, there's Marys and there's Marthas, right? She's a Martha. She's behind the scenes. She's been that way for all 28 and a half years of our marriage. But I thank God every day for my mom. I thank God for my mother-in-law. I thank God for all the mothers in my life. I thank God for my wife and for Madison and for Sarah. And I thank God for so many of you moms that are here today. And I just want to challenge you. Can we get some music or something? Y'all can stay up here if you'd like. I just want to talk for just a minute as we close out. Because I wanted today to be really an encouragement to everybody here, especially moms, because it's really easy for a mom to get discouraged. There's a lot going on in a mom's life. And first of all, we just want to say from the Coleman family and the Rodemakers, happy Mother's Day to all moms here in the house today. Amen. And I want to just say a few words. First of all, to single moms, to all our single moms, you have maybe the hardest job in America, and we at Soul Crest want to tell you we love you, we're here for you, we want to help you, encourage you in any way we can. I want to ask, would you give it up for our single moms in the house today? You probably know the story in Genesis chapter 21 of Abraham and Sarah. God had made them a promise they were going to be parents, right? But they're like really old. And so they did what so many other people do, what we all do from time to time. When God doesn't move fast enough, we try to be God. And so they decided that, Sarah decided she was going to call her maid in to be with Abraham to give Abraham a child. Her name was Hagar. So Hagar, the maid, got pregnant by Abraham and they had a child. And then a few years later, Isaac came along. You know, God gave them Isaac, the son that was prophesied that Sarah would have. Well, as time goes on, Sarah begins to be very jealous of Hagar. So you know what she did? She put her out in the desert, Hagar and the child, gave them just enough food. Watch this, just enough food. Not to last very long, and put them out. Basically, she sent them out to die. They were out in the desert, and they'd run out of water, they'd run out of food, and they come to this little place, and she didn't know what to do. You know, it kind of reminds me sometimes in our society today, sometimes men just abandon their families or abandon their children and their wife. I'm sure Hagar felt that way. They sent her out into the desert, and she was there, and she ran out of food and water and the baby, and so she put her little child under a bush, and she walked on ahead because she could not see her child die. She couldn't handle it, couldn't take it. So she went out a little bit further, and when she went out, God spoke to her. And God said to Hagar, Hagar, I see what predicament you're in. I see that you're all by yourself and you feel abandoned. I see your son. I see you. This is a word for somebody in the house today. If you feel abandoned, God sees you. If you feel alone, God sees you. If you're trying to raise a child without any help, God sees you. So she goes a little bit ahead, and God begins to speak to her and said, I see you. I'm paraphrasing. Hagar, I see you. I see your child. I see y'all, and I am going to meet your every need. She opened her eyes, and there was a brook in the middle of the desert. Water pouring. God met her need. I just felt like today that somebody needs to be encouraged. Maybe you're a single mom. Maybe you're a single dad. And man, maybe you're a guardian. Maybe you're a grandmother and you're raising your grandchildren. I just want you to know today, if you're listening, say I'm listening. I want you to know today that God sees you. God hears your cry. And God, watch this, and God promised His children He will be with us and He will take care of us. So for somebody in the room today, you're at your wit's end. Man, you're having a tough time with your kids or your grandkids and you're raising them and you have no help from anybody else. God sees you and God will meet your need. He promises that. And then I've got something else I want to say. There's another word I want to share with some of you that are here today. You may be here today and you've got a rebellious, wayward child. And you beat yourself up over it, and you beat yourself up, and you've got all this guilt. Well, it must have been something I did wrong. I really thought I raised my kids right. I want to tell you, for those of you that raise your kids in the things of God, quit beating yourself up. Now watch me. If you go way back to the very beginning, remember this, Adam and Eve had the perfect parent. Adam and Eve had the perfect parent, God Almighty. And they still had a choice. They made a decision to rebel. You may be here today and you've got a teenager or a grown child that's drifted far away from you. Maybe they've drifted far away from the Lord. Maybe they've drifted far away from the church. They have to make that choice. Quit beating yourself up over it and pray for them to come back. And then there's some others of you here today as moms. On this Mother's Day, you're raising little bitty kids. Did you see all the kids? As many as you saw up here, we probably got 4 times that many in our church with little bitty kids. Our nursery and our kids area is growing so fast, it is exploding. We're already running low on room. And I thank God for that. But here's the deal. So many parents are overwhelmed. I have moms come to me all the time. Oh, are we doing this right? Are we doing? And there's so much anxiety and there's so much pressure. Listen, you keep being faithful to God and bringing your children to the house of God where they can learn about God and Jesus and what Christ has done for their life, and just rely on God to do what God does. Can I just tell you, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. Mom, you have one of the greatest responsibilities in all the world. And God loves you, and God cares about you, and God is with you every step of the way. There's one more thing that I want to mention. I debated whether or not to mention this or not, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Some of you here today have been praying for a child. Maybe for 6 months, maybe for a year, maybe for 15 years. I don't know what God has in store for you, but I do know that the Bible tells us in James, we looked at it last week or week before last, that when we have a need to come before God and ask God, because we serve a big, big God. Today, I want to pray for you. We're going to pray for moms today. And we're going to pray for you. Maybe you're here today and you've been praying, or you've been trying to have a child, trying to get pregnant, and nothing's worked. Can I remind you that Abraham and Sarah tried a long time, but God came through. God came through. Yesterday, we were in Milan. I saw an old friend. It was a lady that was a church secretary in a church that I served in. She has a son. He's 44 years old. 44. She said, "You won't believe what happened." I said, "What? You remember my son?" "I sure do. He was in my youth group." She said, "They have been trying to have a baby ever since they've been married. Well over 15 years. Had just about given up on it. Guess what just happened this past week? They're pregnant." Today, I want us to just spend some time in prayer.